Greetings from Cybertron. This is SoundJack here with a review of the Transformers The Last Night Mission to Cybertron Infernocus, consisting of the Infernocons, Rupture, Glug, Skulk, Gorge, and Infernocon Thrash. So, this is another Toys R Us The Last Night exclusive, part of their Mission to Cybertron subline, I guess. And this set is to represent the Infernocons and their combined form of Infernocus. However, most of them are very inaccurate. The majority of this set is just a repaint of, a redeco, I should say, of the Transformers Prime Beast Hunters Abominus set, with the 4 bots in front, all originating from that set. The only new piece is Gorge. It's Gorge, right? No, it's Skulk. I apologize. I'm terrible with these names. I'll probably get them confused every now and again. But Skulk in the middle there is completely new tooling and is a substantially larger body than the original Abominus that came with this set, or made up this set. Before we get into looking at them individually, I'll go over the accessories first in this instance. There are 2 club blade weapon things. They all have the base of them have 3mm posts, which all of them are capable of holding. In these guys, they're all capable of holding them in their mouths and their hands in their robot mode, but Skulk is the main one that is designed to hold them, being capable of holding them in his hands and on his back, like so. Yeah, but they store on the back using the tabs there. And then they combine into one larger weapon, but we'll save that for the combined form. And then there is also another accessory, clear minifig of Quintessa, or translucent. Am I right in saying translucent? A translucent Quintessa figure, and it's going to be a little hard to get the detail, but that is molded in pretty nice detail. I do kind of wish it wasn't like clear plastic. It's kind of like it got a bit of a bluish tint to it, but it seems to be completely clear at certain points. But it does look very nice, and this is the closest we're ever going to get a representation to Quintessa in a toy form, so take it or leave it. But anyway, let's focus more now onto the Infernocons themselves. And we will start out with Rupture here. Rupture is a redeco of the dive bomb of the Abominus set. He, as most of them are, he is mostly painted in black. As you can see, you got some molding bits there. However, he has a notable amount of orange on the wings right there, and a little bit going on with those eyes right there. And like you said, you can put the weapons in his mouth, like so, or in these hands right there, but they're robot mode hands that are just not well hid. For articulation, he has a joint in his neck, so he's able to bend his head up and down like so. Or their head, because there's absolutely no bioinformation on any of them, so I don't know. They could all be females for all I know. And then if you want to get extra articulation with the neck, you can untab it and use that hinge right there, and then just pull out his head while doing so if you want. There's a ball joint right there, so you're able to fold that in and out, and those ball joints, I will say, are very loose, but you do get rotation out of there. There is a ball joint right there, so you're able to get this to bend like so, and that's using that. And then there's one hinge on the wing that allows it to fold up and like so. Like I said, these joints are very loose. These molds have been used a fair few times, and there is some mold degradation. So the molds are a little worn, and you'll probably see that more in the two leg butts there. Those two in the middle. Those two. Those two. You can use the hinge on the tail to articulate the tail if you want. There's a ball joint in the hip, so they're able to bend all of those ways. And then there's no other joints in the leg for him. So that's Rupture. And next we have Glug, who was based on a Ripper Snapper, and he is very much all black, but he does have a bit of silver going on the top of these spikes right here. That's about it. And some orange on the eyes. And he is capable of holding a 3mm, those 3mm weapons in his mouth right there. And for articulation for him, these hands are able to, I'm not exactly sure what kind of joints they are. They lock in at a particular point. So I guess they're ratchets, but these shouldn't be ratchets because they're so very small. But you're able to articulate those. You got ball joints down here, so you can rotate these legs all about. You can hinge them in and out, and that's all the articulation you really got on him. If you were to do other articulation stuff, you're kind of untransforming him. I guess you can like have him raise up and be in a more upright stance if you want, but that also is weird, and again is slightly kind of untransforming him, so he doesn't have as much articulation as Rupture did. And that was Glug. So now let's go on to Gorge. He's the other one of the group that has some amounts of orange attached to him, with this mohawk thing going on here, and a little bit on what will be his robot mode chest. He was retool. He was a redeco of the blunt mold, and he's got a 3mm port right there in that mouth, so he can hold the weapons. And for articulation, he's got a ball joint in the shoulder, so he's able to rotate full 360. He's able to in and out. His arms cannot do have a swivel in them, so you can get them to rotate, and these claws are able to hinge in up and down. And then you got some ball joints in the legs to allow him to rotate. They can go in a bit, but they can't go out at all. And that's all the articulation you got on Gorge, that's his name, Gorge. Over here we have Infernocon Thrash, who's a redeco of the Twin Strike mold. Oh, I'm sorry, he was not blot. His original toy wasn't blot, it was light because they didn't have the name blot. And he isn't on Cutthroat, he was Windraiser, I want to say. That was the only one that actually had the original Terracon name, Ripper Snapper there. But here is Infernocon Thrash, mostly black. I don't even actually see any silver parts to him, just a little bit of orange for what will be the chest, and some orange on those eyes. And you can see for articulation, he's got a ball joint here that allows his heads to articulate a fair amount. The tail does have a hinge, so it's able to hinge up and down. The front legs they're on this joint, but that joint's a bit more for transformation, so you can use this joint to get the legs to articulate. Nothing else on the leg articulates. Yeah, these are ball joints, so you do get a little bit of extra wiggle waggle going on in those legs. And the back legs are ball jointed as well, but there's things for them to get in the way of, but you do have substantial amount of articulation, and the feet on this are also ball jointed, so you do get a little bit, you get some rotation going on with them. And yeah, we'll get to Skulk when we get to all of their robot modes, because this is his robot mode, and his only other alternate form is the combined mode chest. So there's nothing to talk about there with him for alternate mode purposes because it's just the robot mode and the combined mode. So we'll save him for a bit. So now we'll just quickly go into some size comparisons, some vehicle mode size comparisons. Here they are with Legends class Bumblebee. And you can get an idea of how all of them scale next to him. Here we have Deluxe class Chromedome next to them all. And you can see how they scale compared to him. And then we got Voyager class Megatron. And I'll put them in the back now. You can see the kind of scale you got going on compared to them. And of course, Leader class 6 shot. Ooh, you can get to see that size comparison right there. Alright, so that's all there's to say on their individual beast modes, so let's roll right along into their robot modes. So, starting with Rupture, what you're going to do is you're going to take the... I'm actually kind of forgetting now, hold on. Yeah, this rotates, you take the head, you're going to rotate that back. And then this, hold on, no. Sorry, I apologize. It was folding forward. I was just very confused. This does rotate down, and you can use that as an articulation joint if you really wanted to, but it's like, it's going to fall, well, that falls off, and then like his head is like really stumpy in there, and it's like, he's got a head coming out of his chest. But yeah, you fold this, you fold the neck down, and you fold the head down to make the chest. And then you shouldn't put the arm back on because you should be better than me and be able to keep his arms on. Then you got the head, and that'll tab in. You'll fold the tail up like so, come down to the legs, and then you can rotate them at that hinge right there to make the robot mode feet. Rotate them down like so. I guess you can use that joint in the alternate mode, but I don't know what purpose that would serve. I guess that would be an ankle tilt if you really want. But anyway, you do that for the robot mode. And then you fold his arms down and then fold the wings up like so. Fold the arms down, fold the wings up like so. And then you have Rupture in robot mode. Looks pretty nice. We'll get to the articulation and a closer look in a moment. And then for Glug, what you're going to do, he's a weirdo. He is a weirdo. So you're going to come here. I'm going to split his beast mode face apart in half like so. And then you'll come down and fold this entire assembly down on that hinge. You can see that thin black thing right there. You just fold that down on that hinge and have that come forward. And the tail's going to stay where it is, and then this back panel will fold up and just rest. Will attach to the chest like that, and then the legs fold down, and then the heads fold up, and you rotate this entire assembly around like so. Fold the arms back like that to help make a very large heel for him. You do the same on the other side. Fold the head in, rotate that around, fold the arms down. You come down here, you fold the arms down, and they're the alternate mode legs down, and they're the arms. You flip the head up, and you got Glug in his robot mode, and you can see all of that. He's a weirdo. He's a weirdo with how he works. And then we got Gorge, and what you're going to do for him is you're going to take the alternate mode head and flip that all the way around to the back. You're going to come down here and you're going to take these two side panels. You're going to close them pretty much. They don't like really tab, but they're there. You're going to rotate the legs, what would the alternate mode arms around, rotate them forward and flip the beat alternate mode claws into the robot mode toes, and do the same on the other side. Rotate, flip, and done. You're going to come up here. You're going to take the arms and rotate them down and flip out the fists, and then you're done with that. Same on the other side, rotate them down, flip out the fists, done like so. You open the chest panel, flip the head out, and there you have Gorge in his robot mode. And then we come over to Infernocon Thrash, and then what's going to happen here is we'll get the tails out of the way right now, flip them down, flip the back legs down, take these panels and pull them out, rotate them around and slide them back in, and then you're going to pull them out, rotate around and slide them into place. Then you're going to come around and take the front legs, and they're going to rotate on that hinge, on this hinge right here that I mentioned before was not really an articulation point for those front legs. You're going to just do that and rotate that around, and then the legs will end up sticking up on the back. You'll fold the the alt mode heads down like so. The legs will stick up on the back. The tails will fold up on the back like so. And you come in, pull out this chest panel, and then rotate up the head, close the chest panel, and there you have Infernocon Thrash in his robot mode. And that's how they all look next to each other. So now, getting a closer look at each of them, you've got Rupture here, and there's not a whole lot more to him than you saw in the flying beast mode he's got going on, just mainly his head, which is in very much black, so it's hard to see, but you do see he's got orange eyes on as well. There's some bit of nice detailing there, and it's just all in black, so it's a little hard to see all of that. But he's also got some articulation. His head does absolutely nothing except fold up on that joint, but then you kind of decapitate him. You just have that in. Ball jointed arms, ball jointed elbow joints, so you got all of that articulation. If the arms don't fall off, he's able to do the 360 out to the side and all of that. You got this, you got an elbow joint, so you can swivel the arms around, but you can't get them to bend any more at any different angle than they're at because of how this ball joint works. So he's not gonna articulate, he can't do any other bend besides that. And then you can position the wings however you want, though probably you want them folded up. And then the legs, you got the ball joint in the hips, so you're able to go forward, go back, go out, and then you can use that joint if you want to give them some leg articulation. But that is probably a joint that you used for the alternate mode, because I just forgot about it. Or it's just purely a transformation joint. It probably helps with some poses in the alternate mode. It's just I haven't found any use for them. And that's all he's got. But he is also able to hold the weapons in his hands like so. Whoops, and he just fell. And now for Glug. Yeah, Glug. And you can see him here, and you can see as much detail as you can see under this lighting, and you can see his head's got some orange paint in those eyes. And then the head does have some articulation. It can look up a bit, and it can look down a bit, a lot. He can look all the way down into his chest if you really want to. He's got ball jointed shoulders, so he's able to rotate 360. He can't bend them out that far, unfortunately. No, nothing at the wrist, nothing at the elbow, nothing at the wrist, so he's perpetually like that. He does have ball jointed legs, so he's able to bend that far forward, that far back, that far out only. And then you can use the transformation joint to articulate the leg, to articulate the foot a bit, but just by hinging it. And then you can adjust the heel if you really want. And then that is Glug. And now on to Gorge. You see Gorge here. Gorge is Gorge. He's got an orange visor going on and some extra orange on his chest. And yep, that is Gorge. Articulation, he's got a ball joint in the shoulder. He's able to rotate 360. And you pull the fist out. You can pull his fist out off the friction hinge. Okay, this has never happened to me before. I must confess. Okay, we're good. No, we're not. No, we are not. Okay, now we should be good. Okay, and then you can use that joint, this joint, and then you can bend it out like that far about, and then you got a wrist articulation right there if you want to use that wrist articulation. And then the legs have a ball joint and they fold that far back, that far forward. Yeah, they can just basically go all the way around if there wasn't stuff in the way. And then you can articulate those toes, and then there's nothing at the knees. And now I'm going to see if I can get him to keep a hold of his hand. I guess that's gonna work for now. He'll probably fall off later, especially when we're getting them into their combined mode. And then you got Thrash here, and you see Thrash, and he's got some orange going on in the chest and a little bit of orange going on in those eyes of his. And for his articulation, he has ball jointed shoulders, so he's able to rotate his head a full 360 if the kibble on the back wasn't getting in the way. And then, oh, I forgot to mention, he's got holes in his hands to hold the weapons, and so does Glug. Gorge and Glug do have the 3mm holes in their hands so they can hold the weapons and such, and he's got them in his mouths, his hand mouths. Okay. And then he's got a ball joint in the knee, in the hips. He's able to do forward, back, side. No knee articulation, but he does have some foot, some ankle tilt going on because it's a ball joint, and you can rotate those if you also see fit to do so. And that's really all of the articulation there. And now, since we're in robot mode territory, we can now take a look at the leader of the Infernocons. There's absolutely no bio information. For all I know, I know nothing about these guys except their names and that they are the guards of Quintessa, and that's all I know about them, and they form Infernocus. But Skulk is very, very metal. He's got a lot of silver painted on that face, and very, very tiny orange eyes, as well as the Infernocus head mode just popping out of that chest and looking like a death skull. Just like, he's so punk metal guy. And then you got a lot of black limbs going on. And then you just got the entirety of the robot of the Infernocus mode chest on his back. And he's got some weird shoulders and a weird hunch going on. And yeah. And his articulation, he has some strange articulation. His arms are able to bend that far forward and that far back. And if you want them to go to the sides, you're using this joint to get them to go out the side. So that's going to look really weird. He does have a swivel, so he's able to rotate his arms 360. He does have an elbow bend, and sorry, that was off camera, able to bend 90 degrees. In case you missed it, and it was off camera, and that does rotate. And then there's nothing at the wrist, but he's still able to hold, which I showed off earlier in the video. Then the legs are ball joints, so they're able to go, I should use the other legs, that far forward, that far back, because of the kibble stuff, and there's absolutely no other, actually there is a bit of a knee articulation on that hinge, and there is a swivel to allow that to rotate a full 360. And then he also does have limited head banging articulation. Yeah, he doesn't even need to do the devil's horns, he can just do that with his head. Yeah, oh god, this review's getting long, and it's gonna keep getting long. Okay, now it's time for some robot mode size comparisons. Quick update, this is going to be a lot later on in the video, but I am going to say that he does not have Infernocus combined does not have head articulation, but he actually does. It's a little awkward, but you are able to get him to rotate all the way around, and it does end up like mistransforming his shoulders because it just like forces them out of those tab slots, but he does in fact have some head articulation. So when you get to the point in the video where I'm talking about the articulation on him, and I say he doesn't have head articulation, I'm a liar. I am big liar at that point. So do know he has head articulation, and that's all I have to say. So back to your regularly scheduled review. Here they are with Legends class Bumblebee, and you can see Skulk is a bit larger than the current Legends class figure. All these were Legion class figures from when from the Cyberverse toy line. Don't get it confused with the upcoming cartoon next year. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm so professional on this channel. Here they are with Deluxe class Chrome Dome, and you can see how well they scale next to him in robot mode. And then we have Voyager class Megatron, and you see how well they scale next to him in his robot mode. And then you see that next to Six Shot in their robot modes. And I'll quickly bring in Soundwave and Wheeljack right now. You can see how they look next to them. And now it's time for the big thing of the group. It is time to combine them. Oh boy, okay. So let's just do it piece by piece, and let's get started with Skulk here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the shoulders and we're going to connect them. We're going to fold them up and connect them with that tab in that slot right there, like so. And then we're going to rotate all this around and fold the arms forward like that, allowing this to become an extra ball joint if you so see fit. I mean, an extra knee joint if you so see fit. Well, actually, that will be the knee joint. There will be no other knee joint. And then you fold them out like that. And you're going to come here, and we're going to do some fun bending around of this. So we're going to rotate the legs like so. And then that tab, if you can see it, that tab will go into a slot right there, like so. And then we're going to rotate and we're going to rotate this thigh around and fold it out like that for where the arms are going to connect. Do that on the other side, tab that in, rotate this all around, and we'll come down here and open up those I'll call them ribs. Yeah, I'll open up those ribs, and I'm going to flip this entire assembly around, and we'll just close this up to cover up that gap. And you got a two-head thing going on there. And you're just gonna take this, and there's a couple of joints here, so we're just gonna fold this down back like that, and just fold this all the way down. And that's gonna fold into the head, making the horns of the combined mode head. And just so you are aware, the lighting is not getting it well, but both of the eyes are being Gorge. He's kind of got like an eye patch thing going on right now with this lighting, but he does have both eyes painted in. So that is Skulk in his combined form. So let's move on to Rupture. And most of these do, they are a bit easier if you go into have them in their beast mode. In all honesty, I probably should have started with the robots modes and gone, then headed to the beast mode. But what you do for Skulk, Rupture, is you flip the head around, you flip the beast mode neck out, you just strain these legs out like so. And then there's not like really a proper position for the arms, but I just tend to put them in a position like that. Actually, I can't remember. It is probably like this, yeah. So, and then you do flip the feet around into the beast mode position. You just leave the tail on the back, and that will be the arm mode. It's a very, very weak arm mode. We'll go over to Infernocon Thrash, since his arm mode is next. And again, like I said, this is certainly definitely just get him back into the beast mode, flip the arms out, flip those legs around. The main thing that's going to be different is, I do believe you do fold the side panels on the back legs around like that, and then you leave them like that, and then this will be the combined hand right there, like that. And then for This is Glug, right? Yeah, Glug. So what's going to happen, we're going to flip that around. And then we'll actually just... These two are a little easier from the robot mode, so it's not always. So this just tabs together like that. And then the arms just fold in on this hinge. I did forget this hinge existed. I am so sorry. That you do fold this, you do have this hinge going in. It's not necessarily useful unless you want to get a bow or something, but you do have that hinge, and it just kind of hides the limbs upon the back side of the leg. And then when we get to combining, you're going to need to open that up and have that tab go into the arms. So we'll just leave this like that for now. And then we got Gorge. You'll flip the head in. You'll get him situated. Yeah. So. Yeah, it is just. Hold on. Yeah, it's gotta. I am again very sorry. Right. Okay. You flip the head down. Wow. I was blanking on that so hard. You flip the head down halfway, and then there are very tiny holes on the sides of these legs that go into those tabs in the neck, and they connect like that, and that's how those connect. And the arms also have a hinge on this guy, and to just fold them behind like so, and then you actually have to keep that open and leave the head down for that to tab in properly, and the legs are going to fall apart so much. And then that's the leg for the other leg. And now we just got to tab it all together. So these tabs are going to go into slots in the individual, into Glug and Gorge, and they'll tab in. I'm going to try to show you as best as possible with all of this black going on. They'll tab in like that, and then you just fold all of that back, and then you got to readjust the leg because the leg is very, very weak. The bottom of that leg is very, very weak sauce. Move that out to the side to give room for the other one, and then this will tab through that slot right there. So this one you'll probably actually see a bit better, like so. You collapse that up, and then just fold the arms back and out of the way without, completely de-transforming the leg, which is a stronger challenge than it really should be. And then you got the two legs, and this foot is just going to keep falling apart. I will just warn you of that right now. And then you come up here, and you see these two sets of tabs on these legs. They will go into adjoining slots on the front and on the back of the arm connections, and they will connect like so, and then you have the one arm, and you do that on this side. Same thing with Thrash's connection, and then you got that going on, and boom, you have Infernocus in his unstable combined form. Yeah. It's a little ridiculous, but it looks very nice. It does. Like, the main body of it looks very nice, and if like the feet could stay together better, it would look a little better. Also, if this arm was a little more than just a bird head, and maybe these claws are also supposed to be like fingers for him to grasp with. I don't know, but he's got to hold the weapon by that head. So that's the hand right there compared to the double clawed hand going on over here. But yeah, we got Infernocus. And look at that head sculpt. Look at that monstrously silver head sculpt. The orange eyes going on in there. That horn, those horns. You got all of this orange stuff going on the chest. You got some Cybertronian going on along the side of the chest. I'm sorry that's not coming out that well on camera, but it is there. A lot more orange, a lot of black, and then the rest are just the rest of the Infernocons. Different bits. For articulation, his head cannot do anything. He can just wiggle his horns if he wants. He does have the swivel. I unfortunately just untabbed him. That allows him to rotate his arms, and they do in fact rotate a full 360. And then you got this joint like right there to allow him to move the arms up and down. And this one does have has this joint right here for the lower legs that allows him to have a bit of an elbow going on. And then these are individually articulated, so you can get him like an open hand and closed hands, positions like that. On this side, the ball joint knees allow him to have an elbow as well, and then I guess you can position these however you want. Actually, I tend to prefer to position those up there since this is a little clunky, and this just makes some nice detail, I guess. Is the best I do. I also like to mistransform a little bit just to get the arm a little more extended, just by having, instead of it folded up like that, folded down a bit more like that, just to get him a little longer of an arm. Nothing at the waist. His legs do articulate. They are able to bend that far forward, that far back. If I get enough of him out of the way, that far out, and there is a swivel and a knee joint right there that goes 90 degrees. So yeah, like these legs just keep falling apart, man. Even on I do have the original mold, not with me, but I do have the original mold, and it wasn't. I don't think it was that bad, but it was still a problem, if I recall correctly. So do be aware if you get this, he is going to be very, very loose. It's going to be very, very, fairly loose in the feet. Like the feet will do enough to keep him standing. They're just not going to be connected, so it's not always going to look great, and it's going to make it hard to get him into poses and stuff. But he does also, I do also have to mention his weapons. These two individual weapons do combine. This one has a hole in it to fit the 3mm post and tab, and he's able to combine into big club sword thing, and they can be held in the 3mm post hands. And I like putting it on this side, so as it's able to cover up the fact that arm is very, very tiny. It is still able to store on the back, I believe, in this configuration. Well, actually, no, wait, never mind. Those aren't the same tabs. I don't know what I'm talking about. I thought I keep thinking those are the same tabs as the ones that allow him to store, allow Skulk to store these weapons on his back, but they are not. So do not think they are, unless I'm just being a dum-dum, and actually you can use that, and I'm just terribly wrong. But regardless, main place this will probably go is in that guy's hand. So yeah, let's get on to another round of size comparisons. Here he is with the deluxe, not deluxe Bumblebee, Legends class Bumblebee. And he comes up to right about there. And then we've got, this is the deluxe class Chrome Dome. A bit above the waist, kind of like lower chest there. Then we got Voyager class Megatron. I will readjust a little bit. Voyager class Megatron, and Infernocus is a little bit taller at the head, not even counting the horns. So combined he's about Voyager size. And then I can get Megatron to cooperate off screen. And then we have Leader Class 6 Shot. And then you can see the horns just basically come up to the top of 6 Shot's chest right there. And then the actual head comes like to those wings on his chest. And then, of course, here he is with the channel's mascots, Soundwave and Wheeljack. And I might as well throw in Quintessa among all of that. Yeah, Quintessa doesn't really deserve size comparisons, but if you really want the size comparisons with Quintessa, Bumblebee, Chrome Dome, Megatron, and Six Shot, if you are interested in Quintessa size comparisons. Yeah. I appreciate the attempt of what they did with the Infernocons and Infernocus. I appreciate that they tried to give us a thing to represent those characters in the film. It's nice that they came with like a mini Quintessa figure, so that is also nice. But not the greatest. Well, not the greatest toy to have been based off of. Honestly, I think I would have preferred seeing like. And then in the movie there were 6 of them, so like six legend scale figures that combine into one robot, and then like the 4 limbs could do all of their own, like either have them each have their own individual transformations, but the arms and legs are just recopies, and then the torso, and the 2 parts of the torso are unique, or just have all of the limbs, or have all of them kind of interchangeable. But they did what they did, and it's all right. If you're interested, go get it. Be aware, again, like the feet are not the greatest on him, so that's an unfortunate thing. But it exists. It's possible to get if you want to recreate those kinds of scenes for the movies. I do personally like him. I do think it was worth it. Probably some other people might not think it's worth it, and again, like I said, I'd probably prefer something else. What they did with Skulk was very nice, and I do kind of wish that they tried that with the other limbs, but they didn't, and this is what we got. And it's all right. It's all right. But that's all I really have to say on this guy. He's all right. He's all right. If you're interested, get him. If not, whatever. But that's all I have to say on Infernocus. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please like and share this video and subscribe to the channel. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at SoundJack426. Also, please consider donating on my Patreon page to help support the channel. All the links will be in the description below. Thanks for tuning in. This is SoundJack signing off.